All right. How you doing, folks? Raymond here from the Raymond Report for a Thursday. Got to get my days right. It is Thursday, August 25th. Hope you're having yourself a good start to your Thirsty Thursdays. As always, don't forget to subscribe to our channel by tapping that notification bell in the top right-hand corner, or hit the subscribe button below this video if you are using a mobile device. Today's podcast is brought to you by the Raymond Report. You can get the Raymond Report each and every day right here at atsstats.com. And speaking of the Raymond Report, you can sign up today. It's only $4.99, and you will get access to the entire website, including my members picks, and you can get that here at atsstats.com. All right, hope you're having a good start to your morning. I'm looking forward to today. Got a special guest, a good friend of mine, Ross Benjamin of rbwins.com, will be showing up at the top of the hour, and I'm looking forward to that interview. We're going to talk college football, and we're also going to talk some NFL preseason football, and maybe we'll have a little mixed bag of college football week one. We'll talk about some of those highlight games, and we'll do a bit of a lightning round in that. And today it is 20 degrees here in the nation's capital. My name is Ron Raymond, a 5-time sports handicapping champion. You can find me here each and every day at atsstats.com, Monday to Friday, 10:30 Eastern. That's when we do our live show, and we're using a new software today. So as you can see, a little different outlook that you see usually, but I will bring the website on in a few minutes. But I thought, you know what, because the software that I use normally is you can't bring in guests on that software. So last week or a couple of weeks ago when we knew Ross was going to come on, I did my homework and I found this website where I can stream live and bring on a guest at the same time. So this is all new to us here today. And I said, you know what, having a guest on today, I'm not going to wear my Yankees hat. And thought a new fresh start here on a August 25th. I keep thinking it was Wednesday the 24th, but no, we are August 25th. And it's like I always say, right? The sun came up, the day ends in Y, and why not go right back at it, get back on the horse, and let's get some winning picks here today. Woohoo! You guys were talking about taking the Tigers last night. Congrats. Yeah, congrats if you did take the Tigers. And what was the final score on that one? I don't remember what the final score is, but yeah, we were having a little fun yesterday about the new D-type team in the Raymond Report, and that is the Detroit Tigers, D for Detroit. All right, got a great show lined up for you guys here today. I'm not sure if my my audio is some of the sound effects are going to work. Can you guys, if I play the holy cow, can you hear this? I'm not sure if my sound of bites are working today, so give me a little shout out there in the bullpen. That's where all the ramblers and gamblers are hanging out. And I see that the Nature Boy, Ric Flair, is in the house. Hey, how you doing there, Johnny Peresco, the Nature Boy? Brent Vienna's in the house. How you doing there, Brent? Ron B. And again, I think I'm going to say that every morning. Anytime you can start a show with a guy named Ron, I think you're off to the right track, right? We're on the right foot here. You guys were talking about. Good morning, everyone. Boss Hog in the General Lee's in the house. And so Cubs 1, Sox 1, Seattle. Today's plays. Good morning, everyone. Tongue-tied 89 is in the house. Good morning, Tongue-tied. Ron B, give me a hell yeah. Hey, for sure. Hey, where's the? I do have a hell yeah for you here. And I got to find my my what do you call them there? My Stone Cold Austin. Anyways, I'm not too sure if the sound effects are working. Can you guys hear the sound bites? If I play any of the, can you guys hear that, or is this too low? Anyways, how's the microphone? I know yesterday we had a little bit of an issue with the mic, so I want to make sure the mic is at a good level. Yeah, so the mic can't hear the sound bite. Can't hear the sound. Okay, so we can't hear the sound bite. So that's one thing we're learning with this new software. And you know what? Maybe some people will be happy about that, right? So hey, it's amazing. Some of the fickle people, right? And I get it. Sometimes it could be overkill, but I think the sound bites make it entertaining for the show, and I do think a lot of people like it, right? All right, so again, speaking of the show, we have a great show lined up for you guys here today. We got the people in the bullpen in the Discord who are there each and every day. So if you go to our website, and if you look at the top of the webpage of the Raymond Report, you're going to see a Discord link. Click on that link, and it's going to take you to our Discord, or if you look at the description, there is a link, and if somebody can post the Discord link into the chat, so this way, let's try to get that Discord rocking and rolling for NFL week number 1, college football week 1, or week 0 as they call it, and would love to get more people into the Discord. I'm telling you, we got a great community of people here, and I think it's time to do a meetup, I think it's time maybe we head to Vegas or something like that, and we have a good meetup and meet all the Ramblers and Gamblers. Hey, I'm going to Florida in January, so maybe we meet up in Florida in the Fort Lauderdale area. I think I'm going to go watch that Jets and Dolphins game. Week 17 or week 18, whatever they call it that day. But yeah, I think it's time to do a meetup or hook up with some of the Ramblers and Gamblers here at the Bullpen. All right, speaking of the Ramblers and Gamblers, don't forget, if you are into sports betting, you want to check out my book, Ron Raymond's Top 50 Sports Betting Secrets. It's a book that I wrote in 2009. In fact, our guest today, Ross Benjamin, has the foreword on this book, and he does have some of his tips in this book. And one of his best tips that he's ever shared with us. And I've been using this for many, many years. I'm probably dating ourselves here, maybe 10, 15 years. But Ross has this great tip. Maybe, you know what? I'll let Ross tell it when he comes on the show. And a little teaser right there to keep you guys, as they say, the hook in the business, keep you guys hooked into the Ross segment. But we'll talk about the book and some of Ross's tips that he shared with me many, many years. Yeah, our friendship goes way back. And man, it's really a lot of fun to have Ross on the show here today. Looking forward to that. Speaking of the book, you can get the book right now at atsstats.com, or you can go to amazon.ca or .com. You can buy this book. And for somebody who is new to sports handicapping and you want to get your feet wet and you want to know the fundamentals of sports betting, and hey, a lot of mistakes are done at the beginning. And if you're a rookie at this, I think listening to the show, getting the book, and it'll give you a good foot up on your sports betting. All right, the mission statement of the every time I say that, the mission statement, I think of 50 mission cap. Remember Tragically Hip, 50 mission cap. Anyway, the mission statement of the website or the show is to help and educate the novice sports bettors and how to avoid beginner's mistake. And like I always say, you can always teach an old dog a new trick. And if you are doing this for a long time, the thing I love about this the podcast and the family here in the Bullpen, a lot of good sarcasm humor, but a lot of sharp people watch this show, and we're always improving, right? I always say your sports betting system is like a robot, and each and every day you're putting a piece to your robot until you get your Megatron, right? Your Megatron. And speaking of Detroit, right? I got no sound bites, so I got to do my own sound bites here today. All right, so let me say who else in the Mark Nation's in the house. Boss Hog. Let me see here. Love the sound bites. Daniel Schwartz, $4.99 for a week, as Baby Chick would say. Cheap. I like that one. That's a good one, Daniel. I live in Vegas. Oh, nice. Good morning, family. Let's have a great Thursday, says BC wins. And I think that's my good friend, Bo. And Mitchell Watson's in the house. Good morning, Mitchell. And who else is in the house here? It's a Maine's World. Jermaine Brown is in the house. And it's always nice to see Jermaine early in the morning here on a thirsty Thursday. And Gloria Kay will be making her dramatic entrance, as she always does. Hey, that's why we love her. And and every time I say that now, I always think of Mark Nation with that little voice inside of my head saying, and she comes in all flustered, and what did I miss? And hey, you know what I'm talking about, Mark. Hey, don't act like you don't know, right? We're always joking about it. But yeah, it's a good morning. And again, a new setup here. Hope you guys like it. Gloria will be here late as usual. LOL, says Mark Nations. Speaking of the fundamentals of sports betting and keeping on that theme, did you guys? I watched the Blue Jay game last night, along with the what else game did I watch? I watched the Blue Jays, and I watched a bit of that Tampa Bay Angels game and the Baltimore game. Yeah, I watched the Baltimore. I thought we could have hooked them there with the had the Orioles at +1.5. It came close. They got that double play. Don't you hate that? The base is loaded. You think you might get that run, and all of a sudden they pull a double play out. But you got to tip your hat, and it was a good double play. And the White Sox got the win. And to me, hindsight being 2020, if it looks too good to be true, probably was, right? Baltimore Orioles bettors yesterday. But you know what? As I always say, the day ends. Hey, the sun came up, and the day ends in Y. And why not get back on the horse? And I also watched the McAfee documentary last night. I'm not going to get too tinfoil hat on you guys here, but I thought that was an interesting. I love interesting people, right? And the one thing with McAfee, sharp mind, built the antivirus software. So I thought that was an interesting documentary while I was watching the baseball. So so interesting night here at the Raymond household. All right, Baltimore let us down. How pathetic are the Red Sox, just finding ways to lose games any way they can. Watch the Jays as well. They won me some cash as tongue-tied. Love this snazzy little setup, Ron. Love it. Yeah, thanks. It's, again, it's just maybe if it's something we continue, but like I said, the other software that I use when I do my live stream, I can bring in guests, but today I can. And I better get on with the show here because it'll be 11 o'clock and then we'll be missing a lot of things here. All right, let's go to the golden rules of sports betting. And I don't have my lightning. See, I'm a little off here today. I don't have my sound bites. I'm used to, multitasking with my sound bites and all that. All right, so the fundamentals of the Raymond Report, as you know, it's about value, percentage play, performance cycles, player availability / injuries, and we use a very disciplined money management system. Throughout the show, you're going to hear me talk about A, B, and C-type teams, and maybe the odd D. And looking at the A-type team, those are teams with a 60% or higher win percentage. B-type teams, those are teams with a 50 to 59.9 win percentage. And your C-type teams, your bottom dwellers, 49.9% or lower. And I'll get to that in a minute. I just don't bet on C-type teams. I'll never say never, but about 95% of the time I don't. Bullish, neutral, and bearish cycles. It's all about rule number 3 right here, performance cycles. That is one of the indicators that I use. And again, anytime you hear me talk about the show and I'm giving situational handicapping tips, those are what I call indicators, right? You got to have some indicators, and the more indicators you can string along with your thought process and your handicapping, then you build a confidence level into your selection. And in Major League Baseball, NHL, NBA, teams that are bullish are 7-0, 6-1, 5-2 in their last 7 games. Teams that are neutral, those are teams I call that are 3-4, 4-3 in their last 7, and bearish teams 0-7, 1-6, 2-5 in their last 7 games. All right, I want winners. Yeah, I want winners too. Let me see here. I'll pull up my. I want winners. Yeah, see them. Yeah, it's the best I can do with no sound bites here today. All right, top 10 commandments, and these are my golden rules of betting, and we're continue adding along. And again, you sometimes when you're talking with buddies and you're talking with other people in the industry, and you're talking, things you shouldn't do, right? I.e., put your hands on the stove when it's hot, right? Things like that. The things I really value when I'm sports betting and when I'm handicapping, I call these the golden rules of sports betting. And if you do have some golden rules and you want to share them with the show, just put them in the chat or send me an email at ronraymond@atsstats.com. And what I'll do is I'll add them to the page. But these are the top 10. And then I'm going to do some opinions, right? Because, it's a top 10 for a reason. But if I start getting 11, 12, 13, 14 more golden rules, then we'll rank them accordingly. And then maybe some of these get bumped down to opinions. All right. Rule number 1 of the Raymond Report, or my golden rules, I avoid or I don't bet big money on C-type teams in the Raymond Report. I never lay points. I will bet the money line, take the points, or bet the over-under. Never bet on doubleheader in baseball. Just too much going on that day. You got to follow a disciplined money management system. And I know I would probably say like 80% of all gamblers always bet the same amount. But hey, to each their own. Never force a pick because you need action on a game. Yeah, that's a no-no. Never chase losing bets on a bad day. Bet with your wallet, not your heart. Live to learn. Learn to live another day. Beer and pizza money on C-type crime games. Those are teams below 500. Never bet against A-type teams who are bullish at home. And learned that lesson last weekend. Houston, Atlanta. Hello. And the 24-hour rule of betting is this. Anytime you're coming off a big win, enjoy the moment, enjoy the win, and take the next 24 hours, savor it. Because the last thing you want to do is after hitting like a 4, 5, 10-team parlay is turn around the next day and give it all back to the sports book, right? I'm sure your wife or husband will love that. Never bet on any team that is A, B, C that are bearish. So never bet on any teams that are A, B, or C in the Raymond Report that are in a bearish cycle. Let them work out that cycle. Yankees was a great example, right? Yankees were in a bearish cycle last week, and it all depends on the type of team that they are, right? And there's the Raymond Report money management system. Again, I will be doing a show on this soon enough. All right, let me see what you guys are saying right now. I want winners. Anybody doing Europa today? Soccer? NFL bets today? Yeah, we're going to talk NFL when Ross comes in on the show. Good morning, Scott. Do you smell what Ron is cooking? Yeah, Ron's cooking up some winners right now. I'm 3-0 in NFL preseason, but I don't see anything I believe in tonight's games, says Ron B, not Ron R. Steph, Cardinals killed me with some cash. The Cubs have been playing. Hey, remember I said if there was a team, and we talked about this in the Bears and Bulls report yesterday, if you are going to bet on a C-type team, it looks like the Cubs could be the ones you trust right now, right? And that's the key word, trust. If I'm going to bet on a C-type team, it's going to be trust with a capital T on it right there. All right, it's a Maine's World. Torn on Baltimore today again. Hey, you know what? That's I 100%. I know what you're saying. It's a Maine's World, but again, you got to look through cycles, right? That's why I don't bet on streaks. You got to look at games through cycle, and you got to tip your hat to the White Sox yesterday. Chicago played a pretty good game. They got that doubleheader, which was clutch in the I think it was the eighth inning, bottom of the eighth. Could have got us that 5-4, but anyways, spilt milk. We don't talk about it. I was going for teams with quarterback battles because I felt like they would have better quality quarterback play, even with second and third strings. All right, so here's the thing. Today when Ross Benjamin comes on the show, that's one of the topics he wants to talk about. He said, Ron, let's talk about NFL preseason strategies, and that'll be one of the things me and Ross will be talking about here today. I agree. Ron B says, Manny, damn, I took St. Louis because I think they will bounce back. They keep going back and forth with the Cubs. Yeah, the old bounce back theory. I think BC Win says, I think the rule that Ross gave us is think like a bookie. Yeah, no, think like a bookmaker. That's what Ross says all the time. And that's one of the words I live by. Think like a bookmaker. And that's a Ross Benjamin quote right there. Cubs line is very suspicious with Hudson on the mound for the Cardinals. Stroman has been pitching really strong. You know what? I agree with you, tongue-tied. Marcus Stroman, at the beginning of the year, he was like my Pepto-Bismol. He was my Barrios type pitcher, right? It's just like when you watch him, you bring your bottle of Pepto. But I've got to give to Stroman. I did a little bit of research this morning. In his last 8 starts, he's 1-0-7, 7 being no decision. So the Stroman has been he's been doing all right. He's been doing okay. All right, let's get on to the next segment, and that is the World Series of Handicapping Pro Football Contest. Since we're talking football today, NFL and preseason, along with college football, you can sign up today at worldseriesofhandicapping.com. We're already getting 125 signups, so I'm really happy with that. So keep signing up. The World Series of Handicapping Pro Football Contest. It's a free contest, and as I always say, if it's free, it's for me, and it should be for you too. And you can sign up today at the World Series of Handicapping.com website. And the way this contest works is that each and every week you're going to make 7 selections, and 1 unit to 7 units, you're going to rank them. And then once you do rank them, the player with the most amount of units, sides or totals, it doesn't have to be just sides. You can also include totals. And the player with the most amount of units will win the Barron Championship ring. And I got to talk to my good friend John Presco maybe this weekend to see if we can get some of these plaques. Maybe a plaque. Maybe we do like a quarter, like the first 4 weeks of the series, or maybe at the halfway point, we get those beautiful cutting boards that Johnny always shows and talks about on the show. And again, I keep saying I'm going to bring my bills. I should just keep it in my office, so this way I can show those beautiful plaques that John, the cutting boards that John makes. But I'll be talking to you over the weekend, John. Maybe we do like a quarter contest, right? The player with the who's leading at the quarter mark. So after week 4, maybe they get a cutting board courtesy of the World Series of Handicapping, and we'll talk about that. All right, sounds good. Whatever you need, Coach, says the Nature Boy, and you can't hear the sound bites, eh? I got that's one thing I got to look into, the sound bites, because without the sound bites, I feel like I'm a handicapper here a bit. All right, let's go to the next on the topic, and we always respect the horse racing industry. And I forgot to look to see if yesterday's. You remember what I gave out yesterday in the horse racing free tip sheet? I don't know if I know it was Irad Ortiz Jr. And I was wondering if it won. I'll have to check it out. Maybe if somebody's out there, they can check it out. Woo, says Ron B. and Tongue-Tied and the Nature Boy. All right, let's today's horse racing tip sheet of the day is Del Mar, and you can get the entire tip sheet at Del Mar for today at atsstats.com. Once you come to the website, and if you like to feed the ponies, go to horses, go to free tip sheet, and then go to your pull down menu right here, and then you can see Del Mar, and then you'll scroll right down here. Oh, you know what? Here we go. Now, all right, this is where I got to, let me see, show on screen. There we go. All right, there you go. So I was doing all this and I forgot to show you guys the screen. So it's still working out this new software. So just bear with me, folks. Today at Del Mar, you can see the entire tip sheet. Races 1, 2. Normally it's 8 at Del Mar. 1 to 8. Hey, going back to the old memory bank right there. All right, 1 to 8 today at Del Mar. Race number 1 today at Del Mar is a $16,000 claiming race, 5 p.m. post time. First race distance is 5.5 furlongs on the dirt, and we're going to recommend 652 in race number 1 today at Del Mar. And your Joker's Wild is the number 3 horse, Prayer Jabez, with Cedillo on the saddle, 23% in the money. And if you're going to play the number 3 horse, Prayer Jabez, what you want to do is the double Dutch betting system, and that is what you want. You got a $20 budget, put 10 to win, 10 to place on the number 3. This way he comes in first, you get paid twice. He comes in second, you get paid once, which is also very, very nice. All right, that is the free tip sheet of the day, and today's free tip sheet is Del Mar Racetrack in California. All right, the next thing on the docket is Market Watch. Let's go see what happened last night in Major League Baseball, the SBI. This is my Dow Jones Industrial, and each and every day I come on the show and I let you guys know we got to keep our finger on the pulse of the industry. You know, in the Dow Jones, you look for the where if we're up or down today. This is the same type of analogy that I like to give, and let's keep an eye on the favorites, the underdogs, the overs, the unders. So this way we don't get caught with our pants down and say, hey, how come I didn't know about that 13-3 favorite day on August 23rd, on Tuesday? A Ruby Tuesday, the favorites. Right now, the favorites have won 3 straight days in a row. And if you look at yesterday, 8-6 for the favorites, 6-7-1 for the over-unders. And on the 7-day average, we're still in the neutral market. 53% of the favorites have cashed in the last 7 days. And if you look here for the over-unders, 56.9. So a lot of unders still coming in on the baseball. And so if you are betting totals, be careful betting favorites, because right now you can see 8-6 yesterday. But you know what? Again, when I go back to all the sports, normally after the trade deadline, the favorites do go on these crazy runs, right? All right, I see you're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond wearing. Yeah, I saw that clip. That was like 18 minutes. I don't know if I got a soundbite that people will keep their attention for 18 minutes, but we'll just go with woo. Hey, 1 second soundbite of Ric Flair. That's good enough for me. All right, winner picks their faves, NFL logo board, whatever you need. All right, so if you have any questions or you have anything, comments, good or bad, I got broad shoulders, so I'm always ready to accept constructive criticism about the show. And and that's the thing, when you're doing a show like this, you're trying to please everybody, obviously. And it's like a politician, right? You probably get 50-50 approval rate. But anytime you're doing these shows and you see something that we can improve the show on, or, something that gets on your nerves and you want to, say, hey, maybe less of this, more of that, just send me an email, send me a text, or put it in there. And there's my good friend Bien Trabajo is in the house. And so it's always good to see some football players logging in, and good to see my good friend Bien. If you're with me, give me 2. Ric Flair, tick, 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 boom. That's what we always do when we start a practice, right? So see, Bien is a football player. He's pumped up. He's ready for the show, right? So when I'm coaching football, I got this thing at the beginning of the football, right? All coaches, they get the team together. Let's have a good practice. And if you're with me, give me 2. They all clap. And I go Ric Flair, and they all sing woo. And then I go tick, 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 and everybody yells boom. And then we all go to our units, right? So it's, hey, I love seeing hey, Bien, I bet you Bien watches the show with his sweatbands on, and he's ready. And he's ready to go. I love it. All right, here we go on the second segment here, the ABCs. And we're going to go to the Bears and Bulls report to see who's bearish and bullish in Major League Baseball. It's 10:53, so my good friend Ross will be coming on here in about 7 minutes, and I gotta make sure that hey, we did a little bit of this yesterday. 2 seats left. I just got to make sure that when he comes in, I get the invite and I see it. Hey, don't want him sitting around there too long saying, hey, I'm emailing you, but you're not letting me in. So I got to keep an eye on that. All right, so you can see right now the Bulls in the A club right now. We got 5 teams in the A club. We got the Yankees, Atlanta, the Mets, Houston, and the Dodgers. And of all those 2 teams right now in the A club, you can see the Yankees and the Mets, the 2 New York teams, are neutral. Atlanta, Houston, and the Dodgers are bullish, and you can see the confidence level pretty high on all these teams. And looking at the Dodgers, 5-2 in their last 7, and right now the Atlanta Braves 6-1. Man, they put a thumping on the Bucks yesterday on that 12:30 start. Right? Did you see that one home run landed in the river? Man, that thing is probably still flying right now. Hey, it's probably on the radar. All right, St. Louis, Toronto, Tampa Bay, your only bullish teams right now in the B club. And the teams you probably want to stay away from right now is Chicago White Sox, Minnesota. Yeah, what's going on with Minnesota? Well, I'll tell you what's going on with Minnesota. They're playing the top teams. Strength of schedule for Minnesota has been pretty high, right? And then you got San Francisco. They should be a C-type team right there. I don't know why we're always getting confused with this one. 61 and 62 is not 50%, right? In my books or in my math. And then in the C club, Texas now. Welcome to the club, Texas, the Bull Club. And who else? That's the only one. Where's the Chicago Cubs? Cubs are neutral. They are 4-3 in their last 7. But Texas Rangers right now, the only team that is bullish. All right, let me see here. Do I hear Ross? There he is. Show on screen. Hey, Ross, can you hear me, buddy?
Hey, Ron, how are you?
There he is, the man, the myth, the legend, Ross Benjamin.
There's a grand entrance for you.
Yeah, there you go. Hang on, buddy. I'm just going to hide this. And there he is.
Hey,
ladies and gentlemen, Ross Benjamin.
Hey, let me take my specs off here.
All right, buddy. Hey, we've been chatting and we talked last week. And, people watching the show, they know us. They know Ross Benjamin. They know what we're all about. Hey, the two guys have been in the industry for a pretty long time. And we bring a lot of knowledge. And, man, I'm so pumped. And I know you're pumped, too, because you love this stuff, don't you?
Yeah, this is a great time of year. The anticipation of football season. I'm an NFL preseason bettor, so I've been enjoying a little bit over the last few weeks with some success at that. So, college football starting Saturday. Not quite what the matchups that we want to see on the opening weekend of college football, but the following week, we have a lot of good matchups, and I'm really looking forward to attacking these boards every week, Ron.
Yeah, the 7 most handicapped games in the history of college football. That's what I call it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. With so many unknowns, and the big thing with college football these days is keeping track of these transfer portals, So, I mean, we're going to talk about Lincoln Riley later in the show. But, for example, USC with Lincoln Riley, yes, they did lose some players because of the coaching change, but they also bring in the Oklahoma quarterback that he had last year. And Ron, he had the number 1 class, transfer portal class in the country. 13 new players come in that figure to play anywhere from a first team to a second team role on the team.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And, it's funny you say that, Ross, because yesterday I was talking on the show about because I got a friend of mine. He's a scout and in Canada, and he's really well connected with all of the coaches down south. And the coaches are telling him that as much as they recruit a lot of high school players, the portal is the game changer, because the portal is where they get a lot of players that, because a high school guy is probably not developed physically yet, right? And mentally. Yeah. Where the guy who's been, at West Virginia, Arkansas, they've already got a year of workouts and film and just the next level, right? And I know from being a college university coach here in Canada that high school in Canada compared to the States is a different league, and the players who are going to high school to university is an eye opener for a lot of these kids, and a lot of the players, some of them don't even stick around. But
no, I mean, you look at a guy like JT Daniels, the quarterback now at West Virginia. He started out at USC, he started out at Georgia. No, USC he started out at, lost his job there, went to Georgia, was a starting quarterback to begin the year last year, and then he lost his job again, and now he's on the way to West Virginia. So there's got to be a little bit of balance too, though, Ron. I mean, I think a player playing at 3 schools in 3 years is a little bit ridiculous, right? So I mean, I get the transfer portal. I'm all for it, but not when these kids, every time they don't get their way, can transfer with no repercussions.
Oh yeah, and then the NIL, that's a yeah. We can get
Yeah,
into
I
another
mean,
show of
they
that,
got to
right?
get that under control. I mean, it's almost like they have to set a salary cap on it
What did
because I
Lane
mean,
Kiffin? What did Lane Kiffin say? Free agency has already reached the college ranks.
yeah, no doubt. That's what it
Yeah,
is. I mean, yeah, before it was always the boosters paying these kids on illegally under the table. And now it's, you could do it and you can almost launder money through a sponsor. You know what I'm saying? So uh, now they can cover themselves legally. So it's getting more and more like the pro game. And you know what, Ron? When major colleges pack 70,000, 80,000 seat stadiums, players should get rewarded in some way, shape, or form. However, you can't let it go rogue the way it is right now, in my
yeah.
opinion. You
No,
know,
there has to be some control event, but they're just trying to figure this out, and it starts with the TV contracts too, right?
yeah,
But we'll get to that in just a few minutes. Ross, you mentioned you are hot. You know what? You've been doing this a long time, and I'm always impressed with your professionalism, and I'm sure your clients are too. 7-1 so far this year in preseason,
yeah.
15-3. Wow, last
15-3 run dating back to last year. Yes.
last year, 15
Yeah.
3 last 2 years. And that's just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Because we know how hard it is to win, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what you got to do. I mean, here again, I can't tell somebody what to do. I could tell them what I'm doing without disclosing every recipe in the book, right, Ron?
Yeah.
But I concentrate on head coaches during the preseason. I really think head coaching trends during the preseason hold a lot more water than they do during regular season action. And I say this for the reason that it's about philosophy during the preseason and not about the X's and the O's. Everybody's vanilla, right, Ron? Nobody wants
Oh,
to
yeah.
show their cards during the preseason. But by the same token, like a guy like John Harbaugh, I mean, he's had tremendous success since he arrived in Baltimore in 2008 during the NFL preseason. And he's just the type of guy, like I like to joke, if he played fish with his 5-year-old granddaughter, he wants to win. So as long as they're keeping score, some coaches go all out to win, and others, as we know, Ron, use it as a means to evaluate the roster from top to bottom. And also, they keep it real vanilla, and their main goal really is to keep their starting players healthy come regular season. Having said that, that's where you should concentrate on quality of depth on a roster as opposed to whose starters are playing or not. Because a lot of these games are being decided in the second half when both teams have backups on the field.
Hey, you know what? You're not going to get an argument out of me there. As I always say, great coaches, it's all about preparation, and you don't build your wings being thrown off a cliff. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like you
Yeah.
got to be ready and prepared. And I know we're always talking about the Bradys, the Rogers, and all the Arnolds and all the great players. But what do you think? Who gets these guys prepared with a game plan for these games, right? And to me, and I'm doing the research right now on the DNA of winning, and I'll get to that on another show. But we get so, and I use this term a lot, paralysis by analysis. But at the end of the day, I always go back to the Bill Parcells line: "You are what your record says you are." I don't care if you've completed 90% of your passes, you threw for 400 yards. Did you win? And at the end of the day, did you win your game? You know what I mean? It's just, anyways. So, all right, that leads us right into the games you want to talk about here, Ross. You got, I know we're kind of biased when we talk about the Buffalo
Yeah.
Bills, and I know we got some people here from Buffalo, but hey, it is what it is. The Buffalo Bills off to a great start, coming off a big win last week, 45-12 against the Broncos, 27-24 in the preseason week 1 against the Colts. Going up to Carolina, taking on their first road game against the Panthers. What are you thinking about this game?
Well, and again, yeah, we're biased, but you know what I always say, Ron, numbers don't lie and liars don't figure. I mean, going back to the head coaching trends, Sean McDermott with Buffalo since to the end of 2018, the Bills are now 10-0 straight up and against the spread as well in their last 10 preseason games, winning by an average of a tad over 10 points per game. So that's the kind of things I look for. Also, the fact that since the end of 2017, which was McDermott's first year, the Bills are 8-0 straight up in ATS in their last 8 preseason games as an underdog. Not only have they covered all 8 as a dog, but they have won all 8 straight up. Now, I had a client reach out to me. One of my viewers on my YouTube channel reach out to me and say, well, doesn't it strike you as strange that Carolina is a 6-point favorite in this game? It looks too good to be true. Well, that's well indeed. But as you well know, Ron, a lot of reports come out a couple days in advance of what the head coach's plan may be. In Buffalo's instance, McDermott is not going to play any of his starters. And Carolina is going to go with their starters. Plus, you look at their top 2 quarterbacks, Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield, vast starting experience so far, albeit with limited success. But having said that, they're going to be going against backups. So, I think it's an accurate line. My thing is, without getting too much more long-winded, is Buffalo's roster is extremely deep. When they make their cut down to 53, there's going to be a lot of players. I would venture to say 5 or 6 players are going to get picked up by somebody else, and a few of those guys might even start eventually. So that's how deep they are, and we've seen it. Last week against Denver, Josh Allen played 3 plays, Ron. The first team offense played the first quarter. The first 6 times they got the ball, they scored a touchdown. So, that's a deep roster. And again, I think that's a heavy number to lay with Carolina in that situation.
Yeah, and tough. It was tough for Nathaniel Hackett, right? All these new coaches coming into, like, we have 6 or 7 new coaches. You got Peterson in Jacksonville, Hackett in Raiders. Broncos. You got McDaniels. Like, I was looking at prior, our old OC last year, Dable at the Giants. It's funny how some of these new coaches are either 2-0 or 0-2.
Yeah.
But I agree with you, Ross, 100%. And I talk about this on the show a lot: perception versus reality. And to me, it's all about perception right now in preseason, right? We all have this perception of what might happen, but what's the reality of what will happen? And in the truth lies the middle. That's what I always say. It's like the Cadbury secret, right? You got to go find the truth in the middle. And you're 100% right. But I always find, though, like you said, winning coaches, winning teams, winning programs, and teams that are, they go through cycles. I talk about this all the time on my show, is that, the performance cycles of teams, right? And you can't win forever. You can't lose forever. And Buffalo's going through a really good cycle of winning.
Right. And again, it's they built it from the ground up. And to their credit, between Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott, they've made the playoffs for the first 5 years of their tenures. So, and in the interim, they've not only steadily improved, but they built the quality of the roster up from 1 through 53. Where, there's always going to be a drop off when you go to a starter to a backup to some degree. But there's not as huge a drop off when you build your roster depth to the quality they have.
Now, are you liking Buffalo in this game, or is it an opinion?
I use it as a free pick on my YouTube channel. So I'm going to take Buffalo plus they're actually 6.5 now. But for those of you scratching your head on that line and saying, well, Carolina's got to be the play because this is too good to be true to take Buffalo, I can understand that mindset. But that mindset more is applicable to the regular season than it would be to the preseason. Again, when you're seeing Houston Texans go to play at the Rams and win and cover as a favorite, and then cover as a favorite in the first game, they're 2-0 in the preseason. And the bottom line is that's a team that's lucky if they win 3 games during a regular season. So it's a whole different entity is what I'm getting at, Ron. Preseason versus a regular season handicapping.
Oh, it's like, I'll be honest with you, I haven't made one bet in the preseason because with baseball, CFL going, if you want to, put your hard-earned money on something, to me, I got to research it. And it's all about time. Like, how many times if you wake up or you're working and you look up, it's like, oh my God, 3:00. And I haven't even handicapped this game yet,
Yeah.
So I use the preseason myself personally to evaluate, to look. And then once it gets real ready, that's when I attack it. But
Yeah.
the thing is, if you can find an opportunity to make money, then it's
To me, it's been stealing, for lack of a better phrase. I know that sounds criminal, but it's just it is a
that's
phrase.
awesome.
It's a phrase
Yeah.
we use as handicappers when things
Yeah.
are easy to
That was
us.
good on stealing.
Yeah,
All right, let's see if we can steal a winner here in KC and Green Bay.
hey, Casey,
Speaking of great coaches,
yeah,
leading into the two more good coaches, right? You got Matt LaFleur, up and coming young coach, doing a great job at Green Bay. Andy Reid, the old veteran, right there. KC 1-1, so is Green Bay in the preseason, but again, it's preseason. Kansas City last couple of games. First game at Chicago, lost 19-14, and then 24-14 against Washington. And then you got the Packers 28-21 loss at San Fran, and then beat New Orleans last week 20-10. What are you thinking about this game, Ross?
Well, you look at that total, which the last I checked, I believe was 36. I'm not sure what it is right at this current moment in time, but I can't imagine it's moved too much, if any. And you got these two teams with the reputation of high-powered offenses, offensive-minded coaches, yet the total is just 36 in this game, which tells me, without looking, I don't have to look at reports. I know both of these teams are not going to play their starters. If that total is at 36, it's jumping right off the page at me. So I would be real careful this is where players get, meaning bettors get a little bit confused and think they got to steal, for lack of a better phrase again.
Yeah.
But, just because the total is 36, it's a reason. There's a reason why, and you could draw the conclusion without me looking at a thing that obviously the starters are not playing on both sides.
Yeah, you know what? Now that you mentioned the total, do you find it weird sometimes? Like if the total moves and say the side moves, but the total doesn't. You always find that a little bit weird when you're handicapping. Like you see a side total go from say -1 to like 3.5, but the total doesn't move at all.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that? Like sometimes you see that.
It happens quite frequently. The way I read into that, Ron, me personally, everybody has their own way of doing things. And you've been quite successful with your mindset over many more years than I have in this industry.
Not that many.
Yeah, maybe 5 or 6, but still, we've been around a long time. Let's put it that way. I just concentrate on why that side moved, because a lot of that, there could be a couple reasons for that occurring. And most of it is money generated, and sharp money generated. Because if you stop to think about it, if that line was moved because a quarterback is iffy or a quarterback might be out, that would affect the total as well. When you see a line and a point spread and a total move, that's where I would say, okay, there's got to be a key player that's injured, and not always. It's not an exact science, but to answer your question, I would just I don't think about the total. I think about why the point spread has moved and try to justify the reason for what may have occurred that prompted that move. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely, 100%. One of the words that I use all the time is head fakes. Like in this, bookmakers now with all the corporate books involved, DraftKings, FanDuel, the offshore, you got Europe, and there's just, you're never going to get 100 people in the room betting 50-50. And the bookmakers, they're going to throw head fakes out there. Yeah. And it's back in the day when we used to watch the Don Best line. Yeah, that was the gospel. That was the word. That was where you follow. And now anything can happen. Like I said, I call those head fakes. And I just be very careful.
The other thing too is find a good source that gives you accurate betting trends. What I mean by that is not Buffalo is 10-0 straight up in ATS. I mean where the money is going. For example, in that particular instance, if a line went from 1 to 3.5, and the favorite in that situation has less money bet on them and less volume of tickets on them, to me, that's a real sharp move. That's an indicator. Now, that doesn't mean it's sharp money wins all the time. There's no easy shortcuts to this, but there's several ways you could look at a line move like the example you just gave.
Yeah, no, exactly. All right. Now, Ross, before we get going, if people are interested in getting your picks for college football this weekend or NFL preseason, where will they be able to get your selections?
Well, the NFL preseason, you're going to have to get it at my site, which is rbwins.com. I will be posting at Ron's site, atsstats.com.
Yep.
Ron, right now the lines there's no preseason lines, so I won't be posting anything there. And no,
Yep.
I don't want you to get me preseason lines, Ron, because
No.
it's the last week of the
Oh, yeah.
preseason.
No.
I don't want to create you a headache already before we
Yeah.
even get going again.
Start waking up pretty deep and
Yeah, exactly. So get the programmer involved in a whole 9 yards. But anyway, rbwins.com is my website. And if you go there and you haven't registered yet, and you're on the fence about buying picks, I give all my new registrants a $100 sign up bonus, which means you're not going to get $100 in the mail. I'm not sending you a check for 100, but 100 will go into your account for you to purchase any which way you like toward any package. If you want to get a month-long package for $4.99, you can get it for $3.99. Or you could use it on single game or multi-game packages. And Ron, one other thing, and not to get long-winded again, but I guarantee all my single game and daily game packages. No, you don't get your money back if you lose, but I will credit your account. If you don't win, you don't make a profit, I will credit your account the exact amount of your purchase price. And by the way, on Saturday, I got my NFL preseason game of the year up, Ron. So you want to take advantage of that. Not only the two streaks that Ron mentioned, and I thank him for that, but also I'm documented since 2011 in the NFL preseason. That's going on 12 years now, 69-47, which is good for 59%. In the NFL preseason since 2011. So the proof is in the pudding, buddy.
Oh, hey, buddy. Yeah, that's why you're on the show, because I feel, we've been doing this a long time, and I feel you're one of the best guys, and not just a great handicapper, a good person too. So I love having you on, and you're a professional. And I see some people writing some. One guy goes, Ross is a synonym of pearls. You're giving them the pearls. Remember our good friend Greg Bempson used to talk about the pearls all the time.
I'm not sure what that is. What that means.
It means you're giving up the great information.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So what I call pearls, like the pearls of information, right? The pearls of wisdom. Looking forward to this. Ron and Ross duo crushing it. Ross is ready to go. I can tell he's biting at the bit to give out all the information. Great morning breakfast club. Ross has a good stat coming. I can feel it. Ron, do you think the performance cycles are harder to judge in football than sports? Okay, so do you think performance cycles are hard to judge in football than sports like basketball and hockey? Yeah, so the thing is, in performance cycles, and that's what I call when I'm looking at teams when they go through stretches. In football, a 3-game cycle could be 21 days. In baseball, it's 7 days. It can be 3 days, right? Yeah. So to me, no, it's all about the performance, and you are what your record says you are. So teams, to me, go through which I call a bullish, bearish, and neutral cycle, just like the stock market. And what's the old adage in stocks? You buy low, you sell high, right? But I also like to bet on teams when they're in a 4-3, 3-4 cycle, because from a market psychology point of view, between you and the bookmaker, and here's where that perception versus reality card comes in. You feel I'm more even with the bookmaker, because anytime a team is bearish, like then bearish Ross in those sports is 0-7, 1-6, or 2-5 in their last 7. I just feel there's too much. I want that team to work out their struggles, because it's like trying to catch a falling knife when they're going to win that next game. So I usually bet teams that are bullish or neutral, but I got to be careful when I'm betting on bullish teams, because we don't know when that winning streak is going to come to an end. So I just scale back my units in that respect.
Yeah, especially in the NFL. You're never as good as you look, and you're never as bad as you look, is the old saying. So now that doesn't hold true in all instances, but in the majority of times it holds water. And I mean, the same difference which I do is I use algorithms, and a lot of it are based on, it's finding value, right? And how many times have we seen a team that's red hot be overvalued, Ron? Because the books not only use their calculations to come up with an accurate line, but they also might bump the line a half a point to a point just based on public perception alone. because with no insult to anybody watching out there, because, and by the way, folks, thank you for the kind words, and you as well, Ron. But public bettors, for the most part, have very short memories. They remember what happened last week. If the media is jamming down their throat how good one team is and how hot they are, they're bound to be overvalued the next week. So,
absolutely, 100%.
You have to be careful when it comes to those long winning streaks and long losing streaks. So it could work either way.
Exactly. All right. So just so I don't give out your game of the week this week, which game it involves?
Your top, the Washington Commanders. I almost said the Redskins.
Right.
Washington Commanders and Baltimore Ravens.
Okay, that's your top play in preseason. But in college football this weekend, do you have a top play so I don't bring it up?
I have not locked into anything as of yet.
Okay.
I think it's a very tough card from the standpoint that I think the lines are extremely sharp.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, Ron, and we talked about this on past shows. There's 7 or 8 games on the board on Saturday. If I put those 7 or 8 games on a normal Saturday college football card that entails about 60 games, would I use any of those? And at this particular moment in time, the answer is no. Now, I'm doing further research over the next 2 days, digging up as much as I can. But at this particular moment in time, it's highly unlikely I'll have a best bet on Saturday. It might be just a selection, and not to mean that you make light of those, but for me to give out what I call my 10-star top plays, which are my best bets, they have to qualify in that regard. Just because there's 8 games on the board doesn't mean I have to rate one of them as a best bet.
And that's a great point, Ross, because I was looking. See, great minds think alike. I was thinking the same way. I looked at these 7 games. That's why I started the show at the top saying these are the most talked about games in college football history, because that's all everybody's talking about when you listen to the radios or shows. When I look at this card, you know what it reminds me? It's almost like Christmas Day to New Year's. You get those bowl games. It's almost like these bowl games. And you got Central Michigan against Arkansas State or something like that, right? And that's why I'm looking at these games and I'm saying, you know what? I'm looking at some of these, and I'll go back to your coaching, credibility, pedigree of some of these coaches, and I'm looking at some of these matches. And you got Northwestern against Nebraska, Fitzgerald against Frost, Charlotte against FAU. You got Willie Hilly against Willie Taggart, former FSU coach, and then you got Nevada. New coach Ken Wilson against Jerry Kill. 2 new coaches right there who are probably going to want to win their first one. And then UConn, Jim Mora. Talk about a blast from the past, right?
Yeah.
Coming in.
The thing with UConn, though, is you're only as good as the players you have, Randy Edsel went back there thinking he could turn everything around where he had it at one point, and that's not the case. They seem to be overmatched all the time, and that's a Utah State team they're going to be facing, Ron, that went 11-3 a season ago. Did lose a lot of players, but the continuity in their coaching staff and in their success they had a year ago will go a long way in terms of deciding that matchup.
Yeah, and I'm going to use one of your things, perception, like the when people watching the news and all that, and there's, I call it overreaction. Maybe college football week 0. And the thing is, when you get a program like Illinois with Brett Bielema coming in, and he was at Arkansas, and he's in Wisconsin, like he's got the pedigree and the the media attention, because he's going up against Wyoming. I bet you like 80% of the people are going to be on Illinois this week, and I'm really looking at Greg Bowl and the Wyoming Cowboys here at plus 11.5. This line opened up 9.5, 10, and it's now up to 11. And to me, that's like overreaction of the betting public following a big name like Bielema. And I think, to me personally, and this will be probably one of my free plays this week, is Wyoming plus 11.5. Your thoughts on that?
I mean, you look at Illinois' starting quarterback's going to be Tommy DeVito, former Syracuse signal caller who has never lived up to his 4-star rating coming out of high school, and lost his starting job last year to Garrett Schrader, and rightfully so. So it's not like they're bringing in some top-notch quarterback like a Casey Thompson or the Oklahoma quarterback, whoever. It's it's a whole different entity. And I don't like Illinois whatsoever in this game. I might not use it, but if you put the proverbial gun to my head, I would lean toward Wyoming. I agree with you.
Yeah, 100%. All right, Ross. Hey, you know what? It's amazing when two guys get in the room, start talking football. Next thing you know, it's like 25 minutes already went by. So what we're gonna do here is, and I sent you an email. Hopefully you got it.
Yep, got it.
Okay, great. So lightning round. So basically, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring up the games next week. I know we're probably looking a bit ahead because, like I said, I've handicapped the first 7 games to death here. You know, and I'm sure people want to. We'll give them a little taste test of what's to come next week. And again, you don't have to give it. Just give your first thought on these games, and then we'll move on to the next one.
Okay.
All right, West Virginia at Pittsburgh. Is this the backyard brawl that normally?
Yeah, it's a big rivalry game. Pittsburgh, I believe, is a touchdown favorite right now, -7. Look, you lose Kenny Pickett, Jordan Addison, your 1,500-yard receiver, transfers from Pitt to USC. So there's something to be replaced there. Kadon Slovis comes over from USC, ironically, to Pittsburgh. He was a highly touted quarterback coming out of high school that just never seemed to succeed at USC. And then West Virginia, as I alluded to earlier, JT Daniels, the former quarterback at Georgia. And where did he start out again? It escapes me, but it's his 3rd team in 3. It's a game that's very tough, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah,
and West Virginia losing their head coach too, right? And they lost some players. I know there's an Ottawa guy that was on. There's a fly in here that's driving me nuts.
I see that. Yeah, I was getting a feeling you were trying to tell me to get off the camera or something.
Oh, no. Hey, little shiny thing threw me right off, Hey,
if it ain't the dog, it's a fly. I don't know what to do with you, Ron.
I don't know. This fly is just driving me nuts here. I'm trying to concentrate and I'm trying to swat a fly at the same time. Well, it could be worse than like our premier last week was given there it is. It was given a press conference and landed in his mouth. I just don't want that to happen here. I don't need a blooper here. All right, Utah -2.5 at Florida. 15.5 is the line. Gators a dog in the swamp. That's what I
new coaching staff. Billy Napier comes over from Louisiana Lafayette, where he had a ton of success. Utah's loaded for bear, in my opinion, and it doesn't. This line to me is very accurate. If the game was at Utah, I think it would be like a 10.5, 10 somewhere in that area. So Utah's a favorite one of the favorites in the Pac-12, and to me, with a little bit of luck, they could end up in the college football playoff conversation.
Wow.
So
right on. Notre Dame at Ohio State. Buckeyes a 16-point home favorite. Life after Brian Kelly for the Fighting Irish. This is gonna be interesting at the Horseshoe.
Well, it opened at 14 and went to 16, which is unusual when it involves a game with Notre Dame where a line move goes against them because, like the Dallas Cowboys, Notre Dame, there's always that contingent of people who will always bet Notre Dame, regardless of the situation, the line, or the circumstances, right? But what I would say is both of these teams are top 10 teams in the AP preseason poll. And to see this line disparity with 2 top 10 teams speaks volumes to me. I'm probably going to stay off this game, but I would be real careful about taking the points with Notre Dame because it's not as easy as it looks.
Okay. One of the Ramblers and Gamblers in the bullpen said Daniels USC.
Yes.
There you
USC
go.
in Georgia. Correct.
Yeah. See, that's what I love about our community here. We got some. Yeah. They're hardcore. They're all in here.
Yeah, I did mention that earlier. He was at Georgia and USC. Yeah, I just had a brain freeze, Ron, and that happens when you've been doing this for X amount of years, right?
Yeah. Hey, nothing wrong with having a little bit of caddies in the back to give you a little spot there, eh? A little 50 yards to the hole there, Ross.
Absolutely. That's why audience participation is crucial, and we encourage it. Yeah,
absolutely, 100%. And that's why if you guys ever have anything you guys want to ask Ross or myself, just post it into the bullpen. All right, Colorado State at Michigan. Jay Norvell, right? That was the first year. He was at Nevada last year, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's a big point spread, and for good reason.
Yeah.
Michigan, again, people are saying that they're going to contend for a playoff spot once again. There could be a good case for that, but the Big Ten is so tough. it's very hard to repeat and get yourself in that type of situation. But in this particular instance, there's better games on the board to look at.
All right, North Carolina 1.5 at App State. I found that a little interesting as well. App State, a home underdog, considering the last couple of years they've been pretty good, right?
Yeah, well, you could look at it from another viewpoint too, Ron, and say, wow, a Sun Belt team is a favorite over an ACC team. And let's not forget, North Carolina opened, I believe, as a 2.5-point favorite in this contest early. And it's moved, money has moved that line to App State being a favorite. Very tough call for me because, look, the difference between the starters between App State and the starters for NC North Carolina, well, the talent level, believe it or not, will be eerily similar. Okay, the big thing is in special teams on the depth. If they have to go into their bench and players get tired early in the game, who's got the better bench? Who's got the quality depth?
Yeah, great point. Lincoln Riley going to be his first head coach. He got a cupcake game here. That's what I call these soft game, a cupcake. Minus 34.5 against Rice. So if you're going to play, put your first game of the year for a coach coming up from the Sooners, minus 34.5. That's kind of
yeah, I have a magic number I don't go over, and it's like 21. So if to me, I have to make a case for the underdog to win straight up. I'll never lay 35, but I can't make a case for a 35-point underdog winning. It happens very minutely, but it does happen. And again, there's better games to look at.
You're telling me you don't have $7,000 on the money line just in that couch floating around there at the Ross Benjamin household?
Yeah, that'd be a hell of a score if I did. If it came through,
7,000 to make 100. Yeah, that sounds. I need my head right if I ever do that. Oregon against Georgia, minus 17. Welcome to Oregon, Dan Lanning, going up against your old team, right?
Yeah, certainly he knows Georgia's personnel, especially offensively, and he knows their personnel defensively and knows how to attack that from that standpoint. But they did lose 16 players to the NFL draft this past spring. That's a lot to replace. As we well know, though, Kirby Smart is always, since he's been at Georgia, been in the top 5, top 3 in terms of recruiting classes, and keeps recycling, like you like to use that phrase, recycling talent into the program. And the bottom line is that I cannot pull the trigger on or take any team serious, meaning Oregon, with Bo Nix at quarterback. I just can't think that they're going to be any kind of major player with Bo Nix. Yeah, he had some decent numbers at Auburn, but there's something about certain quarterbacks that I watch on a college level that I steer clear of, and he's one.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. UTEP. The only good thing is they're playing this week, so they'll have one game under their belt, and then they're going to face life after Lincoln Riley next week over Sooners minus 32. And the reason why I'm bringing up this game is the quarterback Dylan Gabriel. Spencer Rattler didn't work out at OU last year, but Dylan Gabriel, was it Central Florida or USF?
Central Florida.
Yeah, Central Florida.
Yeah, pass-happy offense at Central Florida. I assume they'll tailor the offense in their schemes to his talents. Does not have the arm that Spencer Rattler has, nor did he have the arm that some of the top quarterbacks in college football. Is he an upgrade? No. Is he a above average college football quarterback? Yes. Now we'll see how he does playing in a Power 5 conference and playing Power 5 teams week to week. So it'll be an early evaluation period for me.
Yeah, that's a great point. And plus, his stocks, he wants to, raise his stock for the NFL draft too, right? Yeah. So now we'll see. And you know what? That you make a great point right there, because if I'm a scout in NFL and I got only the base when he's playing at Central Florida, now I'm getting a little bit lucky here that he's going to a big conference, and now we're going to see if if he can play with the big boys, right?
Yeah, but Ron, the big thing there is, look, small conference quarterbacks, if they have the physical talent, meaning the arm strength to make all the throws in the NFL, They have size. He lacks those physical traits that wows you. Okay. So
Yeah.
he has been extremely successful playing in the American Athletic Conference and especially leading Central Florida to winning records. However, again, I want to see how that limited, in my mind, a limited talent set survives in a Power 5 conference, because it's going to be a whole different. It's not like Central Florida where you play 1 or 2 games a year against Power 5 conference teams in your non-conference part of the schedule. This is going to be every week. So we'll see how he fares in that situation.
All right. And then the last two, you got Cincinnati taking on Arkansas. No respect for the Bearcats here. Arkansas -6.5, but SEC type team. Hey, Cincinnati program doing really well with Lou Fickell. And it's but 6.5 point. But like you said, losing probably a lot of players to the NFL too doesn't help.
You lose your quarterback to start with, Desmond Ridder, who was your starter for, I believe, 4 seasons. Coming off that magical campaign last year. Look, Luke Fickell's record speaks for itself. We all wondered why he didn't jump at the opportunity last year to go to a Power 5 conference school. Well, the reason being, and he had in his back pocket, knowing before it came out in the media, Cincinnati is going to be joining the Big 12. So there you have it. Having said that, Ron, Arkansas to me is going to be a very good team this year. I think that's a team that could win 8 or 9 games, even playing in that tough SEC. And this line speaks volumes to me when you see a team that went to the college football playoff last year, playing a team that was a good team, but not a great team, and they're a touchdown underdog. That would make me awful leery to take Cincinnati.
Yeah, and the last game, Ross, will be at the Superdome. You got Brian Kelly -3 against Florida State. I look at this, Brian Kelly. I'm sure he's going to want to put some points on the board. His first, first game, prime time, everybody watching. -3 LSU. What do you think?
Yeah, they're playing in New Orleans. The bottom line is you're looking at a lot of turnover in personnel at LSU. A lot of guys cleared out. It's going to take Kelly at least a couple of years to get LSU back to where they were just a couple seasons ago. Having said that, I would rather play LSU now, early in the year, than I would later in the year when he has time to really get his personnel to gel a little bit. But I think it's going to be a rough year for LSU.
Really?
In Brian Kelly's first year. Yes, I do.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Interesting thought. All right. Hey, Ross, week 1 in the books, buddy.
Yeah.
Hey,
week 0.
Week 0. Yeah.
I always
say, my database.
Week 0. What's a week 0? You know what I mean? It's like getting a bill in the mail that says you don't owe anything. So.
Yeah, it's like a meet and greet before the big bill.
Exactly.
It's like, what the hell? Hey, and the thing is, you tell us to guys like us who have database. My database doesn't understand week 0.
No,
it's like, where's week 1?
Yeah.
Yeah. But before you go, Ross, you'll be back here every Thursday around 11.
Yeah.
We're going to talk college football, NFL. And right now, this weekend, you do have a big NFL preseason game. And again, where can people get your...
my website and going forward, starting with this week in college football, you could find all of my picks also at atsstats.com.
All right. Hey, that was a lot of fun. And man, looking forward to doing this each and every week. And so have yourself a great rest of your day, Ross. And we'll probably talk to you later, and have a good one.
Hey, Ron, thank you for having me. Look forward to working with you all year, and you take care, my friend.
All right, buddy. You have a good one. All right, folks, that's Ross Benjamin, and he will be here each and every Thursday. So looking forward to that. And man, that was a lot of fun. Like I said, let me just move this here. When you have a professional handicapper like Ross Benjamin come, and when you get a guy like Ross won't do like a lot of shows, but it's always an honor that he always comes on this show. And you guys remember Ross when we used to do this every morning, and now you see why I was all happy to get Ross, because what you see with Ross is what you get. And to me, he's one of the best guys in this industry when it comes to handicapping, and he's also a great guy to boot. All right, let me know what you thought of that little segment with Ross Benjamin, and thank you, Ross, as the nature boy. A round of applause. Yeah. So, hey, Ross is a big fan favorite already here at the Ram Report. And we'll get back on with the show. And let's take a look at the Major League Baseball games for today. And hopefully you guys are still around. And we do have a couple of games here today. So let's look at that first game. You got Tampa Bay taking on the Halos, a 72.7% chance of winning for Tampa Bay compared to 37.2 for LA. You got Drew Rasmussen going up against Patrick Sandoval. I'm going to lean with the Rays in that one. And in fact, where's my sheet? Because I already got my my tip sheet ready to go when I put in my picks at bullpenpicks.com. All right, the Chicago Cubs taking on the St. Louis Cardinals. Now the Cubbies, Cubbies have been playing some good baseball. I saw some stat where they've won 6 series in a row or something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's pretty good. You got Stroman going against Dakota Hudson, and like I was saying with Ross, Stroman 1-0-7 in his last 8 starts. So I do like. I'm going to go to the Cubbies here today on my bullpenpicks.com, even though the percentage play is a 1% higher for the Cards. Cleveland taking on Seattle. You got the Guardians sending Tristan McKenzie to the hill against Marco Gonzalez, and you can see there the chance of winning does favor Seattle at 50.1% compared to 47.3% for the Guardians. Cleveland's last 4 games have gone under the total. Chicago White Sox taking on Baltimore. The Orioles let one slip away last night in the bottom of the 8th. They had the bases drunk, and they couldn't bring him in and at least get us that 5-4 score. We had Baltimore plus 1.5. Today you got Lance Romance Lynn going up against Jordan Lyles of the Orioles. The line minus 120. And I'm going to go lean with the Orioles. I'm not going to get off that gravy train just yet. I'm going to ride this one out, even though the percentage play does favor Chicago at 49.4%. Give me the O's with Jordan Lyles on the bump. Cincinnati taking on Philadelphia. Another huge favorite, minus 2 to 320. And Philly's on a 3-game win streak. And I'm going to go with Philly in this one. 81.8% chance of winning. Philly's now on a 3-game win streak off that 7-5 win. Mets taking on Colorado. Another huge favorite. It's like college football here. Minus 425. Totals at 7. And you can tell this game's not playing at Coors, right? Because of that low total of 7. 47.5% chance of winning for the Rockies compared to 74.1 for the New York Mets. Mets on a 2-game losing streak. They didn't do too well in the Subway Series, and they get a cupcake game here today against the Rockies. I do like, let me see here, Jacob deGrom over Ryan Feltner. The game of the night will be at Fenway between the Boston Red Sox and the Toronto Blue Jays. Now, the Blue Jays going to send Kevin Gossman to the hill. He's 6-3 on the road this season, a 1.65 ERA. And looking at the chance of winning this game does favor the Blue Jays at 56.4%. Blue Jays coming off that 3-2 win last night, and Romano came in and closed the door in the late inning. It was an extra inning, it was a 10th inning. So big win for the Blue Jays. And again, 56.4% chance of winning for the Toronto Blue Jays compared to 30.5 for the Boston Red Sox. Red Sox now on a 3-game losing streak. You got the Stros taking on the Minnesota Twins. Now, Houston sending Luis Garcia to the hill, the mullet, against Chris Archer of the Minnesota Twins. You can see the Twinkies now on a 5-game losing streak, a 60.4% chance to winning today for Houston. And I'm going to go with Houston in this one. And the late game in the West Coast, you got the Yankees taking on the Oakland Athletics. Jameson Taillon up against James Caprillan. And we do have the Bronx Bombers winning at 60.7%. New York now in a neutral cycle, 60.7% chance. And last 5 games for New York have gone under the total. And those are your plays today at ATSstats.com. Again, folks, you can get the Rain Report each and every day right here at ATSstats.com. All right, bullpen picks. Let's take a look at the top scores right now at bullpenpicks.com. And you can see our top score is still Arthur Kent, Art 55. He's 778. Art, you know what? I got to give my props here to Art and Magnums. These guys have been absolutely crushing it in the month of August. So congratulations, guys. You're doing a great job. And you can follow their picks each and every day at bullpenpicks.com. I'm going to go with the Rays today with Drew Rasmussen. That's a 110 start at Tropicana, 64%. I'm going to go with the Cubbies, 53%, with Stroman over Dakota Hudson. I'm going to go with the Orioles, 55%. Phillies, I'm going to like the Phillies here at 64%. Aaron Nola over Justin Dunn. I'm going to go with Kevin Gossman against Cutter Crawford, 62% on the Blue Jays. I'm going to take the Mets. That's going to be a big one, 88%. I'm going to go Houston, also in the 70s, 70% against the Twins. And I'm going to take the Yankees on the road, 61%. I'm going to go 60. I'll go 60% with the Yankees. And then I'm going to compare my selections with Art. If Art's got his picks in, all right. So, and Magnum's, the big Ragu put in his pick. So we all like the Rays. No, Art likes St. Louis. He also likes the White Sox. We're on the Phillies. We both like Toronto. We all like the Mets, Houston, and the Bronx. So only a couple of different picks here today between me, Art, and the big Ragu. All right, let's get to the talking about practice. I don't have my sound bites. Throwing me off today without my sound bites, eh? I don't know if you guys can hear that. I don't think you guys can hear my sound bites today. All right, let me see here what you guys are saying right now in the bullpen. Let's go, Cards. OG Wheat, great collaboration, Coach. Yeah, great chemistry with you. Both looking forward to Thursday, Ross. Yeah, you know what? The one thing when you do a show like this with a professional like Ross Benjamin, it's like two guys just sitting in a coffee shop or a bar and just shooting the right, shooting the breeze. And the one thing with Ross, he knows this stuff. I sent Ross that email about 2 hours ago. I said, here's some things in college football we're going to talk about. And that just shows you the professional. Like, maybe a rookie would have panicked. Oh, I'm not ready for that. I'm not. Ross like, yeah, whatever. Hey, water off a duck's back right there. And that's Ross Benjamin. All right, let's get to the 80% club. And let's take a look at some of the stats and trends for Thursday, August 25th. And remember, stats and trends. Trends are your friends, but they don't pay the rent. Toronto Blue Jays 10-1 as a 160-180 road favorite, coming off a win against a right-handed pitcher the last 7 years. The Rays 10-1 as a 160-180 home favorite, playing the month of August the last 7 years. Yankees 9-1 as a -300 or more road favorite in the month of August since 1996. That's a 90% whopper right there. Let me see here. The under 16-2. Wow, look at that. That's almost a mic drop here. The New York Mets 16-2 to the under whenever they're a home team, coming off a 2-run loss in their last game the last 4 years. And let's finish on a high note, and we'll finish with Seattle 23-3 as a pick in the 120 home underdog against a right-handed pitcher the last 2 years. All right, hey, what a show. This is a lot of fun today. Anytime you get guests on your show, and I think I'm going to try to incorporate more guests throughout the season. Ross will come in, be our football expert. I'm going to be looking for another hockey and NBA guy or girl to come and talk NBA and NHL hockey. And just once a week, bring in some of the friends of the show, and hopefully bring more information to the great people here in the bullpen. And that's what we call the Ramblers and Gamblers here at the Raymond Report. All right, that's a wrap. And unfortunately, I don't think you guys can hear my sound bites with this software. But you know what? I got to give this software a lot of credit because with the old software that I use, the Streamlabs, I can't bring in guests. But the ones that I use here today, I'm able to bring in Ross. And thank God I was able to, because then we got a great show here. You guys were able to get a lot of great information from Ross. And I'm looking forward to the next show. All right. Tomorrow, I will have my old system back. I'll have more sound bites. Hey, I don't know if that's a good or bad thing for some people, but I will be back here tomorrow on a football-friendly Friday, August 26th. In the meantime, my name is Ron Raymond. You can find me hang my hat here each and every day at the Raymond Report Sports Betting Podcast right here on our YouTube channel. And if you're interested in getting a membership, you can go to atsstats.com, kick the tires for only $4.99 for a weekly membership. And come and see what we have to offer, and hope to see you back here on a friendly Friday. In the meantime, shop for value, play those percentages. I'll see you back shortly with another Raymond Report. Have a good one, folks.